Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant
second game draft between Geek and T1. It is an LP Dodontronics expired. John, we're back after a first game victory from T1. It was, I'm gonna say, rather unexpected, especially considering the draft. We definitely thought Geek Fam had the superior draft, but it got to the point where the lone draw just got too big. Miracle did end up just... I mean, they had so many buffs. There. The attack speed was getting to a point.
Remaining.
All props, however, before I go on about how great the lone druid was.
Radiant
that position for clockwork, John, did not provide you with enough to agree that Osborne clockwork's a thing.
Yeah, I never said it wasn't. It's just that the teams haven't been picking him. You know, it's like this hopefully wakes them up. Surprised it wasn't banned out by Geek Fam, just as a respect ban, because T1, I think they have had that ban against them a few times, and I think every time they have the opportunity to, it ought to be a consideration. Still, Paulson was carrying that. If I had to give an MVP, it would be Paulson. I mean, he just delayed it so much. He found those key pickoffs and enabled that greedier Clause 1 lone druid to really come online. Even IYD managed to catch up at some point. So Geek Fam, their draft, it was fast, it came online fast. The issue was it was a lot of tempo. It was all tempo. There's nothing to scale into the late game, and once they stopped being aggressive, it just tapered off. So they should look to correct that. T1 though, they open up with the NP. We've seen them start with this hero a couple of times. Tends to be the 4-rev hero, but you could possibly see it mid. I'm not sure if you really want to give IYD that. It is there. That's the flexibility, and solid hero, very popular pick. Great for pushing, and has great physical damage, so you can build off that.
Shaker. Well, Geek Fam, they will go straight into that very, very popular Earthshaker pick. It's the pick we thought that Geek Fam would go into last game for Zephyr. They did end up giving him the Tiny, and I'm pretty sure that was based on the fact that they didn't want the Earthshaker to be up against that clockwork, because it is really hellish. You can't finish any of the animations off of dispels when Barrier Assault is going as an Earthshaker. They do pick it up.
Dire team pick.
As a secondary, they do go back into that Queen of Pain. I don't think Carl was the one that was really the issue in particular for that last game, so they want to give him that Queen of Pain back. If I was T1 though, I would happily go back into the clock right now.
Dire team back.
I think, again, you mentioned the Shaker, but yeah, there you go. Just comes out. Yeah, it's perfect. You've got the global presence of that NP. You've got the scouting potential of that clock in play as well. The Shaker's not going to have a grand time here if you always jump him. And Paulson has proved to us just how well he can run that clock. So a solid pick for T1. I will have to say, they should probably just ban that Morphling. We've seen Raven play that a lot, and they've got the Shaker. Should be a straightforward ban. Unless you do want to actually see the Shaker morph come out. We've seen some teams allow it to slide through, but it can be tricky to deal with if you slip too much out.
Team ban.
Well, they should know they are up against Raven, and we've seen Raven play the morph many times, and does tend to do a pretty darn good job. Last game around, he was in that Pos 1 Ember. Never really got to the point where he scaled past where he should have. He does tend to do better on a very hard kind of farming core. The
10
Morphling would
seconds
suit, of
remaining.
course.
Pick.
T1 did not ban out the
Team
Morphling, they did ban out the Lycan, so Geek Fam, they go for the Oracle for now. Which does open up picks like the Troll Warlord as well. We love to always kind of point out when the Oracle is there. But I wouldn't quite blame them for going to the Morphling either with that Oracle. Because then it becomes just impossible to kill.
Definitely does. I think there's a lot of value. For Geek Fam, if they opt that route,
10 seconds
again,
remaining.
it's just much more suitable for Raven. I mean, his Ember wasn't bad, it's
5
just, it
seconds
doesn't scale,
remaining.
it doesn't farm. I mean, you could farm it, you know, you want to play aggressive with that here, so we'll look to Geek Fam to see what they pick up next, but with an Oracle, I think you've got a lot of laning presence now with your support duo, a lot of sustain, of course. You have decent hold for something slippery that can come out, so it's overall pretty darn nice. One thing as well, like Oracle's Fate's Edict just takes away the magic damage clock, so you have to be a bit careful for Paulson as to who he jumps. It's not a guaranteed kill anymore, not with his Oracle around.
No, it won't be, but the stun still goes through. So while you won't be dealing any damage with Battery Assault through the Fate's Edict, the stun will still be going through just fine. T1, they're going to have a bit of a think about this third pick. Now, last time around we did see the Grimstroke clock. Have the Grimstroke option available to them, because they did get that banned out by Geek Fam. A matter of what they want to try and run with this. You don't really need the Inkswell with the Clockwork in all fairness, you can just kind of do the work yourself. I guess the Inkswell just kind of gives you a lot of kill potential. This is that bonus damage and follow-up stun that you have after the hook shot. But you really don't need to go that far, in all honesty. You just need the setup. T1 though is spending so much time with this third pick.
Yeah, it's they're just trying to figure out how else to run it. I think they're worried about the possibilities Geek Fam might drag out.
Yeah.
With this kind of combo though, I wouldn't be surprised if they opt for maybe a Snapfire. Not many teams have opted for it,
Team pick.
but in this case where the clock can be strong, they go with the Phoenix. They give themselves that team fight. They give themselves the sustain coming out here. There is potency here. Their hold is not the best. I mean, yeah, the Shaker is going to be controlled by the clock, but the Queen of Pain should have a free time running around. And Geek Fam, of course, I mean, there was an Oracle. Just take the Troll. Gives you a way of dealing with the Phoenix. A straightforward pick for them. No surprises there.
It definitely is not. T1 now will have to try and consider a way to deal with this Troll Warlord.
10
Their
seconds
fourth
remaining.
pickup.
5 seconds
They are looking
remaining.
for some kind of safe lane and potentially still an off lane. We don't know where the Prophet's going. Most Prophets that have been picked up have been running that mid lane.
Radiant team banned.
They have the Enigma pick. It's interesting. That's that means it's either a core Enigma or a core Clockwork.
Yeah, I think considering just how well T1 had Paulson on the clock, they'll probably just go Core Enigma. Just give that to
10
Forev,
seconds remaining.
and you do have great wombo combo, right? Phoenix
5
Egg,
seconds
Black Hole
remaining.
again, as we saw earlier on in the day. The issue is pulling that combo off is not simple. And it's a very greedy set of heroes here you have coming out
Team banned.
from T1 in terms of EXP, in terms of farm. All of these heroes, except the clock, probably in terms of farm, all of them need something to build up, and all of them needs a lot of EXP. So T1, I think the only way to make this draft work is to take a POS 1 that won't need that much time to come online. You need to give some space to your other heroes to pull that combo off, and you have kind of
10
drafted
seconds
yourself to
remaining.
the situation where you are relying on that wombo combo.
5
Something like
seconds
Luna would have
remaining.
been nice, but Geek Fam figured that out. They ban it. We've seen Miracle play that.
Dire
And
team
once you hit
pick.
6, you just run around forcing the team fights. Would have been a lot of value. We'll see how T1 closes. Options are really limited for building around a team fight. I'm getting worried about maybe even seeing the Medusa. I mean, yeah, Wombo Combo's great, but for T1, yeah. I mean, because we've seen that with the Enigma, with the Phoenix.
10
They tend to just go Medusa, and I just don't think it works. Not when you
team pick.
don't really figure out how to play that. They go with a PL. So it's a bit better. It doesn't take as much farm as, say, Medusa. You're looking at Diffusal and Yasha, maybe the Manta or SNY timing, and then you're set to go. I think you have to play that faster PL game here. There is decent control from Geek fam though. Like, you pick this into Shaker again. We've seen this before, where start you can play around it. As the game goes on, the Shaker has more openings to catch that out. So it is risky for T1, but it allows them to play a bit faster, and Geek fam, they close with another PL counter, Ember Spirit. So why not?
I thought they were gonna maybe throw the Queen of Pain mid and go for something like the LC again, but instead they go for the Ember, which is also fair enough. Question is, where are they putting either? I believe that should be a mid Ember and offlane Quap.
They're holding on though.
It's not going to be the easiest PL game for sure. Like, you've got so much clearing in the Earthshaker Quap and even the Ember now. Amount of clearing with the Fortune's End.
Yeah, it's is going to be tricky for Miracle. I think for him, it can't be a farming PL game. He has to be up and running fast. He has to join his team fast. T1 in general has to push these towers really quickly. They've got the NP, they've got the Enigma. They need to be able to play around that, and it is going to be Carl down mid and Cuckoo on the offlane Queen of Pain. Comfort picks. This is stuff Geek fans are very familiar with, very comfy with. I do like their draft a bit better here, and they do have at least a much more farm-heavy core for Raven, and you can look to Separate to really do more with that Shaker. So it's a much more well-rounded draft. T1, they just need to hit their timings. They just need to find that EXP. They've got Paulson back in the clock, so hey, maybe they just build off of that instead.
Find out very, very soon how this is all going to pan out. It's a lot of pressure here for T1 to try and win this out. This draft, again, I don't think it's going to make it easy for them. I think Geek fam again have the better draft, but I said that in game 1, and I was proven wrong.
Oh yeah.
Only time will tell what T1 is up to. Because Geek fam, they don't want to allow this to go as a 2-0 for the side of T1. I mentioned this the other day, but T series in a row end up losing their first series 0-2. For some reason, end up 0-2 in the next series as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Geek fam breaks that pattern, but this game 2 draft does look like it's going to break the pattern of the 4 games in a row curse of losing a series and winning a series. So I'd say there's a good chance for Geek fam this time. It's just T1, they can be scary. We doubted them before with the draft, and I guess this time they'll try to prove to us that the Enigma and Phoenix combination can be pulled off, because it is tricky. Initially, that lane, the hardest part about that. We'll see how much they can really get from their lanes.
We're gonna put Carl on the end this time around. Of course, Raven will be back on patrol, but he feels much more comfortable, I'm sure. Raven, his job's gonna be to just keep farming up this game. Just don't even bother joining team fights if you don't have to. He'll probably go that Battle Fury build that we're so used to seeing up against the PL. Even if you don't want that, you still have the option for something like a Maelstrom, but it's not nearly as good as the Battle Fury.
The battle begins.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think Raven will opt for the BF because, again, Raven just enjoys farming a bit more, so this will give him a bit of a head start in terms of gold advantage. You see up top as well, Paulson being aggressive on Rune does force Cuckoo to go for the level 1 blink, can slow down that first level for Cuckoo. So just a little bit more value coming out from Paulson.
Yeah, only problem is though that Cuckoo's gonna get the level 2 anyway, thanks to Zephyr just blocking up this creep wave again. Be a very easy level 2 for Cuckoo. We'll have to try and deal with Miracle here in this lane as well. In all fairness though, the Quap, once he is at that level 2 mark, you just spam Shadow Strike over and over again. Not really much Miracle can do about that, so Paulson, he's already pulling the creep wave around. Understanding this lane is not going to be PL favored at all.
Gonna be a tricky lane. I think he was trying to go for the courier of Cuckoo actually, so missed out on that opportunity. Still has the pull, still finds the XP.
Well, he kind of screwed it up there though. Zephyr, really nice play to drag the large camp over. Not really what you want. Want to try and fix up that equilibrium one, but Zephyr does a really nice job in stopping that. Miracle will be forced to come over and farm that large camp, and now Zephyr going to be chased down a little bit by this Paulson clockwork, but ultimately will be okay. It's only a level 1 battery assault, and now Zephyr will just casually block him.
What did you do?
No real reason for it. He just doesn't.
Pull roots and run.
Of course, mid lane, Carl is up against In Your Dream on the next Prophet, so we do have the mid Prophet coming out once again. In all fairness, we have seen In Your Dream on this this hero a few times. To mixed results. I'd say most of the time it really hasn't panned out for T1, but perhaps after that game 1 victory, they might make this work.
Yeah, I don't think the matchup is too bad for the NP. Like, there's really not much that Carl can block out the physical damage with. Can try to burn down with Flame Guard and find some of those treants, but IYD should be able to trade just fine. You see Zephyr hanging around, but not sure if they can really find this.
Maybe we can get a nice fish on. Level 2 Flame Guard will be back up very, very soon, so you're not going to die for tier 1 town.
Spared you future
Zephyr will just leave. No, he's coming back. In Your Dream is pretty far forward right now, so you can definitely make the chase if you want it now. Wait for that creep wave to take aggro on the other creep wave In Your Dream. Fisher, Zephyr setting up for it now. In Your Dream, have to be careful. Fisher is going to be there to block the wave. TP coming in. He will sprout up the Earth Shaker. In Your Dream, actually not taking as much damage as you would hope, but now Paulson gets a great console from Carl. There's going to be huge trouble. He's trying to run away from Paulson. Can he secure the kill? He can. First blood will be there on the clock.
Radiant
It's a great
structures
kill
are
out.
fortified.
Carl is not going to be happy about that whatsoever.
No, definitely not. Paulson, again, just being super active early on. Ditches his lane, finds a kill. Isn't even punished, like Zephyr is not even trying to harass him out, and Paulson gets level 3 from this nice little rotation.
It's going to feel good to get that level 3. Alvin Clarity up, back up towards that top lane. Jokam has rotated on the Phoenix now, realizing Miracle can't be left alone like that. Cuckoo does really just harass him out every time he is alone. Paulson. See if you can find Zephyr. Zephyr does run the other way on the Earth Shaker. We haven't really talked about bot lane yet either, but Raven's currently 27-5 somehow. So, his farm's going well.
Yeah, it's not much the Enigma can really do. It's just gonna be a farm trade lane. 4 of Can denied range creep, but really not much you can actually do to keep Raven in check. So this is something Geek Fam can play around with to see Raven get that really early timing in the Battle Fury and start building up a net worth advantage from there.
Yeah, decent amount of creeps. Well, some of those creeps probably were Eidolons, to be fair. Now, Barret gonna get jumped on. Fortune's End is there. Raven hoping for some snares, but does have a fish round from Zephyr. And now, Barret is trapped up. They'll secure both bounty rooms down that bot lane as well. Raven's gonna really enjoy that bonus gold for himself.
Yeah, and
Dire's bottom tower
White's
is
got to
under
be
attack.
careful. He's looking for a way into this Oracle. Eidolon's still chasing. He does eventually TP, and well, Prev gets the kill anyway.
Yeah, it's a huge swarm. You gotta watch out for that, and it's a nice little pickup. Doesn't quite change the situation for Forev. It's still a runway lane for Raven, but you'll take what you can get in this case.
We come for you.
Also, still hanging around that mid lane. What's really trying to abuse the fact that Carl isn't level 6 yet, can't really get out of the cogs. He can't really break the gap either. White will just TP into the mid lane, trying to go for a 4% onto In Your Dream, but he'll block away with the sprout and deny the double counter. Carl would have really wanted that rune for himself, but he has a full bottle anyway, he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's still been a tricky lane for Carl in terms of finding farm. He's gonna have to really start rotating at 6 to try to free up these lanes.
Cuckoo gonna blink away. Paulson was trying to catch him off guard, but now you see In Your Dream TPing in. Nature's Wrath does fly through. Cuckoo still falling low. They'll go to the sprout onto Zephyr instead. Zephyr does go down to the Nature's Prophet. Cuckoo will just TP back to the fountain. Thus far, I've put quite a bit of aggression here in this early game. It has been paying off quite nicely.
Definitely has. It's a far cry from game 1. They're just slowly bleeding out and their lanes were falling apart. The only real issue is, again, Raven is just left to free farm. So at some point, the troll is going to be a problem that T1 has to contend with. But for now, they're finding the levels, they're finding that initial gold. They just need to build up towards level 600 supports, and then you can start seeing more. Maybe by the time you have Egg and Hookshot, that's the time you make a move on Raven.
Well, they're giving that solo experience now to Paulson in that mid lane. It's that level 4 mark. We are going to have one of these pauses come out again. It's like In Your Dream still having connection issues. Did just find a royal jelly, which is nice. Reconnect to pick that one up. Yeah. We'll have a quick go ahead. I'm sure both teams are sick of waiting with these pauses.
Warriors of the wood.
Looks like In Your Dream is going to focus on jungling right now as well for the Nature's Prophet, which I do like, right? Because you give that possible plenty of space now to secure his level 6 and not have to take the tomb. He can give it over to the Phoenix.
Yeah, and again, this enables this EXP greedy lineup of T1. We haven't seen too much punishment. Not even Forev. Like, he dies once, sure, but he still found everything he wants in lane, so you are seeing a steady build up to those level 6 marks. And Geek fam, it just feels like they've been happy enough to find farm, but you have to wonder if giving these early XP boons is a bit much.
Radiant's middle tower is
Seems
under
like Geek
attack.
fam are just very, very confident in Raven. To be able to just out-farm and out-carry the side of T1 later on. In all fairness, he's doing so right now. The top lane, Cuckoo going to be in trouble. Joe Camp will go down, however, as Cuckoo does get a scream off, and Raven. The rotation up top. Looks like it's about that time for this troll to start pushing in that T1 tower. It's not like his fast will slow down much either. So Carl, gotta be careful. Paulson is right behind him. Try and chase him down, but the Fisher will be there from Zephyr just in
Dire's
case.
top tower is under attack.
Paulson not at that level 6 mark yet, so couldn't quite hook shot in.
Dire's
But he's almost
structures
there.
are fortified. Dire's
Yeah,
courier
he's been,
has been killed.
again, given that space. He loses courier though. Just a small loss for him, but overall, T1 starting to get a grip on the map. There are TPs down towards Forev, but they're just clearing out the Eidolons.
Yeah, it's a fair bit of gold there for Carl if he does kill them off.
Oh.
I believe they did end up expiring the top lane. Raven gonna fall very, very low. He's just got him locked up. Oh, it's the old Warcraft Reese around.
Make a fire, you.
Don't see that often, but that is pretty painful. That's the biggest kill T1 could hope for. So they've kind of taken away some of Raven's farm. He doesn't even have that much of a lead over IYD, and IYD starts to overtake now on the network craft. So a nice pickup for T1. They can start applying some pressure up top, but if you don't really clump with the Enigma, I guess the push isn't as amazing, but you do get some damage out.
You bit of a fight over that Penta battery and down bot. You do have hookshot there on Zephyr. Excuse me, not on Zephyr, Pulse, but he does miss. Still, Miracle,
Radiant's
takes down
middle
Quickly
tower
on that
is
Queen
under
Pain.
attack.
Paulson actually ends up pinning off White.
Metal. And
White been trying to go for that bounty room down the bot lane, but just can't get away with it. Meanwhile, Cuckoo was still being chased. Miracle, who are you going after? He's going after Carl right now, chasing down Jokan. Does get the Phoenix kill, but now Carl has no way out of this. Apart from Zep does get a Fisher off, and they want to kill onto In Your Dream. That double damage really allowing Carl to keep going. Now Miracle trying to fight back with his own illusion, but it is a bit dangerous. Remnants forward, Carl that wasn't quite far enough. Paulson will be able to break the gap there with the battery assault, but now
Dire's
finds it again. Paulson's there, Carl's gonna die.
Switched.
Ooh, yeah, Paulson again finding the nice kills. They do trade IYD for
Radiant
that,
structures
but
are
I
fortified.
think they're happy keeping Carl in check. He's a much more timing sensitive hero on that Ember Spirit, and we've seen it fall behind before, so I'm sure T1's feeling fine with the trade. While that happens, of course, you're giving 4 of space down bot, and oh no.
Black hole, no! Forever will not hesitate with that black hole. He will commit it every
Radiant's
time he
bottom
sees a kill
tower
off.
is under attack. Dire's top
And with that,
tower
they
is
can
falling.
easily take that bottom T1 tower down very quickly with those creams and the Eidolon. Carl will be there to try and defend. Nature's Wrath was used up. Carl, though, will duke it out. The Flame Guard, he's just trying to force his creeps to die. They are almost there. In fact, he's going to jump after In Your Dream. His presence, just the Flame Guard alone, he might find just more than one kill here for him. He's going to go down. Carl is trying to run now. Paulson's going to change this. They did miss the initial hook shot. Fisher is there for Zephyr. Carl still going. Wants to go after In Your Dream now. He will try and just sprout away, but no. The Slide of Fist will be there from the Ember. Paul's trying to rush. Tom's out, pushing them away. He'll try to juke this as best he can. He chains up, and now the Echo peaks him in with all the trees. Paulson loses a lot of HP. Jokan's in there at the edge. Carl, he found a triple kill, however. Can he survive? He can. He will barely get out of there with his life intact.
So
Zephyr won't be so lucky though. The Fire Spirits do connect Jokan. Spots out the Ember for a second. I believe Carl should be
Dire's
fine to
top
just get
tower
away
is
now.
under attack.
Yeah, that's some good punishment coming out from Geek fam. They do manage to find Tree for their trouble. A lot more to play with. They are starting to hit that stride with Ember Spirit. Carl is up and running and ready to do the damage, so you got to be careful as T1 about how far you push it, and fortunately that does set them back just a bit. You do see Raven making use of this time greatly, just 2 parts away from the battlefield, so once that's up, his farm is really going to kick into gear, and again, there's really not been too much punishment for this troll.
I mean, they killed him once, but that was it. Steve Fury is going to be very nicely timed there for Raven. Of course, Miracle still trying to just farm up to what looks like a diffusal blade. Shot's going to be in on the Zep, it's going to be a nice easy unchecked kill. Now, Kuki is going to go down, trying to take me away, but they have the damage output.
Yeah, big kills for T1. Miracle going early down bot, just opting to help out his team. They find the tier 1 for their trouble, so they're gonna feel a bit better taking control of that bot jungle. I mean, they did lose their top tier 1 much earlier, so they do reopen a part of the map where they can farm. Miracle is going to appreciate that. He's very close to the defusal. Once that's up, he can fight.
Paulson wants to go after this Ember now, but doesn't have the hook shot available.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still just buying Raven time on that call. Miracle. Kind of went for some weird regen build on the PO.
Dire's middle tower is under
He's
attack.
making anything out of those items, though. He's got the strength of that diffusal, I believe.
Yeah. Down the line, he could use that Ring of Tarask for the heart. Not sure what you really want to do with the Ring of Health. I guess for the Vanguard into the Abyssal later on. So there's still some efficiency there. Yeah, it was a tough lane, you know. Yeah. It's not fun playing against a Queen of Pain. Just added regen kind of mitigates that HP loss, so it's enabled him to be farming.
That's fair enough.
The seeds of fortune.
It's like Paulson's going for that Necro 1 book again. We saw that last game, and I thought he may have just gone it because he had so much gold after a big team fight. But it turns out he just enjoys going for it altogether.
I think there's a lot of value in the stats it gives a clock. It just gives you so much more sustain, so much more presence, and again, added damage in the cogs if you choose to use the creeps there. They are surrounding.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Paulson, he's trying to run. He should be able to get out, but Carl is still on the pace. Oh, he gets it. Sleight of Fist and the Shadow Strike poison was just enough. Didn't even realize that we had a Blink Dagger already on Zephyr, but he has it up.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That was a lot of time given this effort, but
Dire's middle
it's very well worth it. The payoff is great. This does enable them to shove in that mid-tier 1. Raven with the Battle Fury is doing a good amount of damage, and Carl does clean it up in the end, stealing it away from Raven. Still, you've got key items up in Geek. Battle Fury and Blink. Farm for Raven kicks in. Team fight potential, as you saw, gets terrifying. T1 have to discipline themselves, distance themselves from their summons. There's just so much to be scared of from the Shaker, and Zephyr plays a very mean Shaker indeed.
It does. You'll be careful with those treants if you're in your dream. Just amplify that Echo Slam damage. Substantial amount. Miracle, just gonna keep farming. Knowing what happens.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They might try to go onto Whiteman on that Oracle, but no, they're gonna go after that 2-1 tower. What they originally came for in the first place. Kuku's gonna TP in, but will force Blink away.
Radiant's middle tower has
T1
fallen.
hit. Doesn't end up going down. No contestation.
Yeah. Play around that slam. They can't just go in when oh no.
They do end up finding Chokehammer on the Phoenix. Now, Walker can be up on the Carl. He'll have an illusion rune, so he'll just use that and put it on. Now, Chains are out of the problem. Your Drain can be chased down here. They do have the Scream as well, with the Fortune Gem to fly out, and you'll be definitely dying. He tries to run up, but Carl will be right there with him. Geek Roshan attempt. Go back to the jungle. Try and control up that dire side of the map.
Yeah, can't really blame them. They are... stalling the game does really help Raven. Again, he went for a heavier farm build, so he does clear out a bit more efficiently than Miracle. I do have to say Miracle's build is pretty nice. I like this Hood of Defiance early on, just to mitigate the damage coming out from Carl, coming out from Zephyr. Gives a lot more survivability towards that PL. He is going to go for the Manta style next. That should really help the cause, stop him from being controlled up. And T1, I think Paulson can't really go for Carl too often. If it's just him and Miracle. Miracle doesn't do enough damage. So the fight was fairly split up for T1. They lost Jokaham a bit too early. Have to be really careful about how they position themselves, and a really different build coming out from Carl. He actually opts for Battle Fury as well, so it's the long game for Geek Fam. They want to stall this one out.
The Battle Fury makes enough sense to up against that PO, right? All the illusions, all the treants, just everything that they're going to be throwing out from T1 side of things. Geek Fam, they're going to go for that top tier 2 tower now.
Dire's top tower is under
I
attack.
think should be a glyph available. It won't be used. We're still going to group up top lane, Geek Fam. Just slowly siege away into T2 tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We have the side of T1 now, re-invading their jungle. Keep them on just waiting right next to Miracle. Oh, there's a great move coming in. He does have the false promise. Can't do much right now. He does get Cam's edge. Zephyr trying to put down there, but will ultimately die after the false promise. And that's 2 supports going down now for the side of Geek then.
Yeah, it's Paulson again. What a hook shots coming out, setting up for his team. It's not the biggest kills, but they will just be unwinnable.
Black hole being sent there on Carl. He'll have the follow-up silence.
Radiant's middle tower is
Miracle
under
will be able
attack.
to secure the kill.
Yeah, it's looking nice. That's a much bigger pick-off, and again, I love seeing this coming out from Forever. He does have the blinks. He went for the blink rush after that Necronomicon. It's been paying off. They just play around that black hole, catch one of these slippery heroes, and suddenly you're just feeling a lot comfier on T1 to play that stall game as well.
I mean, Miracle is proceeding quite nicely with the farm. There's no reason to RT1. Just a matter of him getting those damage built in the kill, right? You did see earlier on today that he didn't really have much help. Top lane, Cuckoo getting caught out again on that Queen of Pain with the Orc and just down 2 has been playing.
Oh yeah, T1 has really been on point in punishing his forward movements. I love the aggression coming out. It's forcing Geek Fam to play as 3, play as 4, and again, that just gives space to T1 to farm. Miracle's not been contested at all. He hasn't died once in this game. His Manta style is almost up and running. 900 gold away for him. IYD, he's almost got his Heaven's Halberd up. 400 gold away for that, so suddenly you have a way of stopping Raven from dishing the damage. The answers are starting to fly out. I think the only hero really hurting is probably Jokam, but all he really needs to do is pop that egg anyway. So he's willing to give that space. He's willing to give that space to Paulson. He's farming up for his Yules, and honestly, I think as long as Paulson actually finds farm, dealing with a clock that's just always going to be ready to fight back.
Gonna scout out a smoke attempt down from Geek. But he's switched it in place and should die here at the top. We'll go down.
You die.
We'll be happy just knowing he's off the map for a little bit. Definitely TP up towards the top lane where Raven was rushing towards. I believe it was your dream on the next prophet. He has also TP'd out back to the fountain. Have that Heaven's Halberd up pretty soon though.
Yeah, he's got gold for it, so you can buy it out, and you get a bit worried for Raven. Doesn't have the BKB just yet, although he is very close to it as well. Timing there where Raven's probably not going to be ready and can be forced to battle trance while disarmed, so gotta be a bit careful about that reveal for both sides, as you do still further build up. You look at Carl, up for the Manta, only has the Yasha. It's a bit slower for our Ember Spirit, but as this game stalls out, of course, with Battle Fury, the side of Geek Fam just farms a bit better. Not much. You're still seeing Miracle keep up pace, but eventually it's gonna build up. You'll slowly bleed these summons away to these Battle Fury builds, and it can be a bit worrisome in that sense.
Raven gonna start forcing in that
Structures are fortified.
with the black hole, but we'll
Radiant's
blink away.
bottom tower is under attack.
They do fortify.
Dire's top tower is under
Back into
attack.
T2 tower, they will be able
Dire's
to
top
claim it,
tower
but the
is
bottom
falling.
T2 is also being taken here by
Radiant's
T1.
bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Zephyr will make the rotation here. The rest of his team are following, but they're not going to be able to really catch anyone out. I don't believe it, but
Radiant's
Cuckoo
turret
is looking
has
for
been killed.
Fisher. Not going to be there in time on Jokam either. Cuckoo is still chasing with the blink, but I believe Jokam should be fine to get out of this. On the brighter side though, they do defend that bottom T2 tower. It never really went down.
Yeah, it's an objective held for Geek Fam, so they don't really trade anything for the top tier 2. Gives them a little bit more influence in that bottom jungle area. And again, just more time to farm up, to build up. And you look at Zephyr saving up for a 4-staff from the support Shaker. Just gonna help him out in case he is targeted by Paulson. Gonna be key in ensuring that Shaker is still around to apply more fissures over the course of a team fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very important.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Wow, that's a lot of couriers dying. I believe Whitemon's died. Now you've got Zephyr's dead. Not the best of times, losers couriers.
For some reason now we have a replacement for it. The Enigma's in trouble. Brev did just get his BKB though, so I'm not sure how balanced that bounty's gonna be. They're having a look, Geek fam, through the dire side triangle, but just won't find anybody. Same thing's happening though with T1. They're doing the exact opposite of what they're doing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Neither side really willing to jump in on each other. But T1, they are close to the road champion, so they can try to go to the back.
It's not quite the fastest rush in this game, but they will get it done slowly but surely. There is a swoop from T1 though. They're walking up to the tip as well. They got the scan.
Radiant's top tower.
Paul's gonna block the way, races smoke threat at the back. He does put his box down. Paulson, the circle shot is there, honestly, they're trying to get out of it. He's throwing together as well. Black Hole gets committed on Carl, but it's not really that great. There's no follow-up to it. So it should be a great team fight here for Geek fans. If they do jump in back in onto In Your Dream, that makes Prop in trouble, trying to TP away. Instead, does come out for Raven. He does eventually get it, and with that, In Your Dream does die. Now Miracle tries to make a run for it. Cuckoo's right behind. Miracle, how do you do this one out? He moves off, but Zephyr is there with the future. No, he's stuck in the quick of illusion. Oh, Zephyr's gonna die a slow painful death. But on the brighter side, his team does win the team fight.
Yeah, and this will allow them to go straight to the pit if they wanted to. T1, that was a very disjointed fight. Paulson jumping straight to the Shaker, but positioning from Jokam not on point. That allowed the Shaker to just commit the Echo Slam. You lost your Phoenix off the bat. It's a bad fighting numbers. And T1, they slip up. It's an opening for Geek fam. Grosh. They do have Paulson around to try to make that hook shot play. For it, he's aiming.
Good blocks out from Kuka. Carl will try to punish Paulson with this now. Raven. Snare. Not happening. They'll just let him go.
It's, still, you've got that Aegis up on Raven. He's got a lot more leeway to stand in front. You even got a blink on Whitemon. Can gap close and cast his spells as needed. A lot more durability you can expect from Raven. And a lot more safety for Whitemon to just sit in the back. So it's going to be harder for T1 to find that kill onto the troll. T1, they need to be a lot more careful in pushing out those fights. They need the black hole and the supernova on at the same time. They can't afford to stagger them out at this point with how much Geek fam has. And they're just gonna have to wait out those cooldowns.
Raven clearing so much gold down that bot lane. We'll buy out the match now. Mid lane T1 just sticking with each other for now, not really moving too far away from their side of the map. Miracle does have the Basher up on the PL. Abyssal coming next. It's a very slow game though with these two. They're just well, they've secured plenty of farm by this point.
Yeah, I think it's really just how topsy-turvy the last game was, that it has tempered both sides to play a lot more cautiously. You can't really fault them. It's a really close series so far, and again, one bad team fight and it could just flip. So both sides are just gonna play it safe. You do have a bit of a push going here for Geek fam down bot, and they can melt these towers a lot faster without depending on summon, so to be able to find that objective or force out the glyph. Probably don't want that glyph when the high ground is becoming a possibility here for Geek Fam.
He's going to go down very, very
Dire's
easily.
bottom tower has fallen.
Raven's going to try and finish off the Abyssal for the Satanic, and the PO will probably do the exact same thing. He's going for an Abyssal. I imagine he will probably also try to go for a Satanic.
Radiant's
but Geek
middle
Fam
tower
has
is
smoked
under
up
attack.
into Policy. He moves off the high ground and hook shot away. Carl will be forced to use a lot of energy now to chase, but he does get Yule's up. Another one of those great things about the possible clock, it just can be so hard to chase down. You're trying to find
Radiant's
Miracle,
top
but he's
tower
TPing
is
out as
under
well.
attack.
This courier was almost left for Pickens, but it does manage to sneak its way out. And T1 managed to avoid a smoke gank. Do have some items coming out for him with the Shadow Blade now. Should have more drain installed.
It's a big pick off here on that Prophet. But in the drain, trying to see if he gets the snare. Really unfortunate for him. Now, this lane falls. On the Carl is running out of energy. It's not really fast, but he does run away. He does get a double damage for himself as well. And he does a substantial amount of damage now with that Flight of Fist, especially with that twist. Paulson trying to run. Should be a kill on Paulson, but he's being unbelievably hard to kill, so they just give it the Sonic Wave. They have enough to wait. And with that, they should be able to secure a tier 2 mid tower.
That's going to be the last outer tower of T1 going away at this point. Makes it a lot harder for them to find that safe farm outside. And Geek Fam, they still hold on to the Aegis. They've got about 1:20 left. Can still just take their time and slow siege up if they wanted to.
They just wanted the glyph. That Aegis though, you still want to try and get onto that high ground at some point. Make use of that Aegis if you can. Clearly the PO though is not really that scary for the troll right now.
No.
Like, you've got two Battle Furies. Carl's just kind of ripping through the illusions with Sleight of Fist and just doing bonus damage onto that PO with every Sleight of Fist he does get because he's cleaving crits. He's gonna have a Daedalus up soon. And once that Daedalus is up, you can literally just kill the PO if you get lucky enough with one Sleight of Fist. It's kind of ridiculous how fast he can die.
It's gonna be tricky for Miracle. His farm has kind of, well, not really stagnated. I mean, he did build a Basher, but you need a lot more now to kind of dwindle off, especially since every other core below Miracle is doing much worse. IYD has been finished up the BKB, but he doesn't really have the damage or control just yet. Saving up for the Hex next. And of course, Forev did just finish up the Shadow Blade. So you have some utility there, but damage is starting to look like a major concern for T1's side. These heroes on Geek Fam are starting to look fairly tanky, and you just don't have enough in merit for that. Oh yeah.
Probably about that time that it's my turn to disconnect soon, I'm sure. Just wait for a big team fight to break out first.
Everyone gets a turn, Mike.
Raven. Looks like he's not going to be in trying to force down the high ground yet. He's going to work towards the Abyssal first, goes to the Satanic after that. He is well ahead of the PL in terms of farm right now, just about 4k. So I guess there's no real rush for him. Miracle just isn't really catching up quite as fast as this troll is going.
Yeah, the Aegis does expire as well, so pretty decent timing to just go farming. And, you know, they build up the lead slowly but surely. 3k advantage now for Geek Fam. They've found a lot more off the map. Even Zephyr has a Shadow Blade up and running on top of the bank, so our Shaker has multiple ways to engage as well. And Raven does finish that Abyssal. So, all the control out on our troll. And he just can't die. I mean, you have to consider Whitemon is there. I don't know how you actually handle Raven in this case.
Neither do I, John. He's gonna rush
be nice.
the bot lane now.
Would have been nice if like Jokam finished up that Spirit Vessel, but he's left it at an urn. So you're not stopping the heal on the troll, and you're not taking away the value of that false promise. It's always just going to be able to heal him up if you're not careful.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Players here.
Cuckoo's going for this will break down the seeing that the other day, didn't we? That quad abyssal.
Yeah.
That's a thing now, it's just another stuff to add on to your hero.
I don't know why you'd go for it first over a Hex, but I guess the durability is really nice for Cuckoo. He does tend to stand in front, so just gets a bit harder to kill with those stats. Some value in that, and of course, he has been pretty tricky to find out. They were killing him earlier on, but Cuckoo has just been a bit too durable.
Regeneration.
And T1, again, just up. You look at Paulson, he's saving up for a Halberd as well. A bit of a different build coming out from her clock, no Ags Rush. But should have that Sange in a bit. Should help them maintain that control over the
Dire's
troll.
bottom tower is under attack.
So now Miracle has the
And it's off.
both teams are going to start posturing around the Roshan pit, but we are going to find out in 35 seconds when it will respawn. Got the Daedalus up now on Carl as well. Who spoke up with that?
Radiant are scared.
Joe can't break. He gets pushed straight away.
Ooh.
Wasn't it?
Ouch, that's really...
Bounty.
This guy just right clicks way too hard, and on
Never
T1.
refuse gold given.
Well, after Paulson, but he'll be able to get away.
Coming in.
Roshan's going to be 20 seconds away. It's a fast respawn.
Wow.
He's casting
T1,
out first, but it should be Geek fan.
yeah, T1 can't afford to give that one away. They have a nice ward watching the Roche Pit though. So they should be aware when Geek Fam tries to go for it. And that's a bit of a boon. They need 4F to be on top of the black hole, and Jokam needs to be able to follow up pretty well. So the pit is a very good spot for them to fight in. Just watch out for the slam from Suffer.
Miracle and Raven going to meet up in that mid lane. They don't even touch each other. Very, very scary. But they do spawn out the Roshan, I believe, Geek fan. Now they'll get started with the Roche. Somewhat. They actually want to go for the Roshan yet. Maybe just waiting on the Satanic for Raven, because that's basically going to be his last item. Even then, you haven't got space for the Aegis if you do go for that Satanic. Maybe get rid of the Sanjin Yasha or something. No, you won't have space, you get rid of the Treads.
Yeah, I think in that case you actually drop the BKB into the inventory and then pop it in for the second life. Probably the way to go for that play. I think that's the tendency, is still stalling it out. As you mentioned, I think they're both aware of the importance of that Roche and just how much can happen there. So neither side really wants to commit too hard just yet. And you have tier 4 items spawning up. This would be a good time to try to fire them.
Well, Raven's going to go for that Roshan. The Rock Flare going to scan that quite nicely. The hard part about versus support block is you can't really do this in a sneaky fashion. You always can get
Radiant's
spotted out.
middle tower is under attack.
Plenty of vision trying to jump in. Now they'll know the Roshan is very, very low. Sneaking up from behind. Nobody gets from behind it. Cuckoo is going to be
Radiant's middle
targeted.
tower is under
But
attack.
Miracle won't dish out that much damage. So
Radiant's
Raven
bottom
goes
tower
back to
is
the
under
Roshan
attack.
pit.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I don't think that T1 really have a way in this part of the book. But way too early though. Off the top, Raven's gonna fall quite low. He may have to bounce back early on as well. Aces still on the deck. Miracle's got him on the PO. He's not breaking another black hole comes down for him. He does grab the troll. There's no damage to the Raven. He turns around now. Forever gets stunned up and gets killed off. Miracle's trying to run on the PO, but Fortune's in is gonna follow him up. They should be able to get these ages off him. This can't really stand the damage.
Just take him out.
I guess.
They do find it. Geek fam gonna be really glad. I mean, it's not like they came out of that with nothing. You've got the cheese on Raven as well. So they still have a second life, basically, for Raven.
Regeneration.
Again, Paulson was so early on that hook shot. I get the pressure, but that might have made that initiation a bit... should have, and... Now, Geek fam, do you have a way of digging through the high ground?
About that time. He has a satanic on the courier, so we'll wait for that. No creeps though. They've got an 11k net worth lead on Geek Fam. But not gonna try and force buybacks out of the PO yet. Maybe with this creep wave they go back mid, but Raven's gone down to the bot lane now. No, he's kind of meeting back up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they're not playing
Lead.
high ground. Yeah, they're just gonna chill out.
mention that lead 12k for Geek Fam. You look at the winning probability, Mike. It's only 65%, and that's a very recent change for Geek Fam. Earlier on, it's actually nearly 50-50 with T1, so... And Dota Plus apparently doesn't think it's too far off for T1 just yet.
No, it's fair enough. I don't believe it is either. Then again, though, like, Miracle is really not able to fight at all. Like, there's just way too much weight to him. One slide of fist is just really ruining him when he has all those illusions up. Carl's going for the Divine Rapier as well.
Oh, yeah, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Once that's up, then it's impossible to use illusions as the deal. Raven gonna slowly start pushing in that bottom 2-3 tower.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Down again, place down the base, Raven. Keep going onto that tier 3.
Dire's structures are fortified.
The seeds are
Kind
forth.
of hard to breach the high ground there. You've got so much high ground defense coming out from T1. And it's still let it go, they just can't get through it.
Yeah, and you do have a bit of a split push coming out from IYD as well. Up top, a lot of creeps there to apply pressure on that tier 2, forcing a response from Carl. Gonna like the gold. This is gonna help him accelerate towards that divine, but does force a response anyway, so Geek Fam just holding back, having played waiting game.
2 charges about 5 pistols. Once that divine's up, that's gonna really hurt if you spam it twice. Raven gonna get jumped here by Miracle. No also being used here on Raven. They won't bother. Shot in, hold.
I'm not sure.
Now, Fortune doesn't apply that pulse. He's still safe thanks to that cost, but Abyss was there. Oh, perfect, no. The Abyss was on the cost, on the cliff. Oh, goodness me. That's an unfortunate mistake.
Costly one. I mean, it looked bad for Paulson, but he actually does find something for his effort, so I guess it pays off in the end. I'm actually not sure what he hooked on, because he ended up in the tree line, but there's no hero there. Was he blocked off by a random fissure? I can't be sure.
Now without Cuckoo, you're kind of just
Radiant
sitting here
are
waiting for
scanning.
Geek Fam. Buys a bit more time for T1.
Yeah, it's also time for Carl to save for the Divine. Oh.
Be there onto the prophet in your now Colton does make the hook shot onto the ES. Exit will be there from in your dream. Now the end being dropped as well. They will secure Zephyr. Good damage chase down after onto one. He's the still main trying to target. But a bit further down, Raven off the battle trams, and that means Messi with the Online will know. Forever's there in time with the black hole. They were trying to bring this one around, but he all gets away. Now Raven getting surrounded. They X him up as well. And Dream is controlling Raven, don't know. He eats the cheese, turns around with the same tactic. Another 15 by Carl. Will clear out one in the Dream. Goes for more now, but he's gone. Miracle drains all the matter of Raven. Carl will find the Phoenix Jokan, and now he says, I'm coming down to the Abyssal. Was on the wrong target. The Miracle is still fighting a losing battle, and he will go down the Sonic Wave of Cuckoo.
Yeah, it looked good for T1. They found a couple of things, but bleeding out like that does open up the high ground now for Geek Fam. This is going to allow them to
Dire's
plump up.
bottom tower is
You've got
under
the Scotty on Raven top of that, and the Divine is up and running
Dire's bottom
for
tower
Carl, so
has fallen.
they're going straight for
Dire's
Q4s.
middle tower
Yeah,
is
you got
under
the
attack.
Divine, make it happen.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Once
Dire's
Carl
bottom
trying to fix the match, he might be dead. There's one. Miracle is half HP. Carl goes to the second one now. Doesn't quite get the lucky hit off. Miracle will be able to get away with that. Hold to try to help him out. Another try to almost create. Carl is trying to back down. Another try to think available in a second, but they have found Paulson. He's still hoping for that lucky crit, but it won't matter. They are pushing those tier 4 towers. The action is exposed now as well. There's no way the team wants to try to defend. Ravens just top the battle ground. Celebration Echo Clan. That means another series is going to be raw. This time Geek Fam goes T1, 1-1.
Yeah, it's a great win for Geek Fam. T1